What's up YouTube? Today's video is gonna be about how you can not get scammed, or the most popular scam currently, or the most dangerous maps and gems you could possibly buy. So how could buying a map be dangerous? Well, you can see here why it's dangerous, right? Like, which one is Cortex? I honestly would have picked the right one, or is it the left one? Who really knows, right? But in this video, I'm going to go over some of the newest scams, the newest and hottest and hippest scams that you can possibly find in the TFT Discord. And I only found this out because the trade site was so bad yesterday. And the trade site is still really bad. Like, when you go to search an item on trade, it's actually very, very slow. I'm not really sure what's going on with the trade site. But PoE does have a huge over-reliance on the trade website. And when the trade website is down, it literally feels like I can't even do anything in the game. And I can really see the appeal of SSF. You go on Reddit right now, half of the posts I see are like complaining about the trade site. So let's go see what we can actually get scammed by when we actually do get to use the trade site. So PoE is a scammer galore, and the reason being is that there's no real auction house system, and it uses this old school system that Chris Wilson personally fell in love with back in the D2 days, where he was personally probably scamming other people. Not really, I'm just kidding, but anyway, like, PoE is definitely a game where you can get scammed really easily because you don't pay attention, right? And in order to find out all the scams, we have the TFT, the Forbidden Trove, has a section here under TFT Hub and Reports where you can see all the scam reports. And every now and then I like to browse it just to keep myself up to date on how to scam, on preventing scams from people. And it's kind of an eye-opener, some of the ones you see, and there's always ones that are done over and over again, time and time again, right? So you can never really get scammed in the trade, because in the trade window you have to highlight over the trade that you end up doing, right? So when you see someone put something bad in the trade window, you actually have to highlight over the item, and usually it is on us. Obviously this doesn't include like harvest crafts and what's it called, betrayal services like Ashling, but for these scams here, most of these are just due to carelessness, and you will see here how easily it is to spot them, and there is a huge pattern that you can recognize time and time again. So this is actually the first scam, and this is called buying Cortex Map. This is one I haven't really seen that much, and I don't even know why it's so popular nowadays. Maybe like they've run out of scams to do or something. And this is preying on the fact that the synthesized maps, other synthesized maps, looks very similar to Cortex Map. And this was by far the most common scam on the Forbidden Trove. And the sad part is a lot of people actually fell for this scam, right? So if we go look at the map tab right here, you can actually see, well, even the site's kind of slow, but you can see, let's see, is there even a map tab for this stuff? Well, I guess it doesn't show up unless you have the maps. Kind of weird. But basically, a lot of people put in this map called like Twisted Distant Memory or any of the synthesized maps, and pretty much play it off as Cortex. And it is very noticeable. And you might think like, oh, no one really falls for this scam, right? But if we go through here, and you can usually find the scams that you want to see with Cortex, you can see here that plenty of people. I wanted to buy Cortex Map, and he offered Distant Memory and transcript of the event, changing Cortex with a smaller synthesis map. And then here again, try swap scam Cortex for rewritten. And then there's people here who actually got scammed because they actually have the wrong map. Can you pay back? Like, this guy is trying to ask for too much, right? I pay you 1.7x for this map. Can you pay back, please? And then he's been ignored by the target player. So again, this is the same thing, actually the same person, and this guy actually got scammed, right? He actually has the rewritten distant memory instead of the Cortex. And then there's some people who are good Samaritans in the world, right? So even though this might seem like doom and gloom, there are some nice people out there who stay in the hideout, wait for people to come in and warn them that they're a scammer. And this person obviously didn't get enough warning from this person that the person's a scammer. And yeah, he didn't heed the warning, or he didn't see it in time. So there are some good people out there, and there's also some evil people out there, right? So this person didn't get scammed. So you can see here over and over again, like, Average Loot Sniffer. That name sounds familiar. But basically, tons and tons of people who get scammed. And this event is just so common. You see it over and over again. It is actually crazy how much this happens. So if you want to see a live demonstration, right, of what this scam actually looks like, let me pull it up over here. And this is the scam over here that you can see. And you can see that so this is not really anything special, right? You go to the thing, you put in the thing, and then he puts in the chaos, probably just to bait you a little bit. And then this person is obviously too smart for it because he actually price checks it to see if he can maybe reverse scam the guy. Then he writes a mean message to the person and then leaves, right? So very, very fun or very, very interesting thing to look out for. So just make sure you double check the Cortex map and be especially wary if the price is too good. The way that these scams happen is that they use a lot of sample size until they get a sucker, right? And this is just like the people who bother reporting it. Like the people that you see on a TFT scam report section, they probably do it to so many people. Because just think about it. If you get a scam attempt, you're not going to go write up a report, right? So this is probably done hundreds and hundreds of times in a course of a day by each person until they either get banned by GGG or someone reports them enough on TFT so that they get blacklisted. But anyhow, let's go on to the second scam, the most scam gems. So this is buying Enlighten and Empower, and this is something that's existed for many, many, many leagues. And these gems are always filled with scammers, and they try to swap out Enlighten or Empower level 4 for level 3. And let's go see here what we could actually find from scammers. Well, I would try to show you, but the problem is that the trade site's kind of slow, right? So this is oh man, the trade site is just completely down. Well, I can't really show it to you. You just have to take my word for it. People who put a low price on the Empower and Enlightens are definitely always trying to scam, especially if the deal is too good to be true. If something is too good to be true, guess what? It is probably not true, right? So a common tactic that these people use is they put in the right gem at the start, and then you put in the amount of X. So say like the gem costs 6.8X, and then you put in, and then they start asking for change, right? So this is to have chaos, bro, and then they put in the wrong one after they cancel the trade and put in a new one, right? So let's go see how common this scam actually is. I think a lot more people are much more wary nowadays of Enlighten with how much it is now. I think Enlighten level 4 is actually how much, like 20x or so. So you can see here, transcript of the event. I want to take level 4 quality 20 Enlighten. They gave him 20x and 6x shard. He says that he needs 30C, and he give me Enlighten 3 level 20 quality. So this guy is saying that he doesn't want the exalted shards and he wants chaos instead. And then he puts it in. This guy just completely stopped the scam. So this one have video when he put level 3. So this person didn't get scammed. And then this person here, did he actually get? Oh no, this guy actually got scammed from the gem he said I had asked for. It's always so sad to see that these scammers actually do get people, right? It's definitely something. If you do it enough, you're bound to get results. Well, in this case, it's the bad results, right? But this person here is scammed for Enlighten 3. So I think this person actually got scammed too because he's highlighting it in his inventory. Or maybe he did. He says, nice try, dog shit. Well, it's just something that's commonly done, 19X and 50C. And just to be sure, all these scam reports is probably much less representative overall of the number of people who scammed. I actually encountered a scammer 2 times this league while trying to buy an Enlighten. And oh yeah, and something to notice is like this hideout you see over here is a very common scammer hideout. I don't really know why, but if you ever trade with a trade bot, you'll notice they always use this undercity hideout that's not decorated at all. So sometimes they're very shameless and they pretty much just try to do as many attempts as possible to get the next victim. But yeah, let's go on to the next one. So this one here is something that I've personally fallen a prey to, and I've actually gotten scammed. Well, yeah, but it's only for like 1 or 2x, right? So this is one where they edit the trade message and you just don't really pay attention because you just trust whatever someone writes or says is true, right? So in this case, you can see that he wants to buy an amethyst ring listed for 5 exalts, but it's actually 55 exalts, right? So he just deleted one number. Not too big of a deal, not too crazy, but it is a big deal, right? So this person wants to buy the Empower, and this person is actually only scamming for like 0.4 exalts, which is pretty crazy, right? So instead of 5.4x, he puts 5 exalts in, and then this person says Keck W, and yeah. But I've actually had this scam happen to me multiple times in the past. So let's go see. Can we see any swap or I don't even know edit? Right. Let's go look at edit. So Control F editing item price. So this is the same one. this one here, the one that I said, and then editing trade price. This guy actually edited. It's like a lot of these people, like they edit such a crazy price, right? That you don't actually believe that they're gonna fall for it, right? No one who has a 55x ring is going to actually think that the ring is gonna be 5 exalts. If you have an item that expensive, you know really well what the item price actually is. This is more of a scam that gets people when the item is like 2 to 3x. You don't really check it, and then they put 1x. So be wary of trade messages and always double check the actual price of your items. And how do you actually prevent scams, right? Because we did go over some of the common ones. And you cannot really get scammed unless you are careless and do not look over the trade, right? So if you actually don't hover over the items, then you deserve to get scammed, right? So make sure to hover over the item always and you have the right one. And make sure if the price is too crazy, if the price seems too insanely good, then it is probably too good to be true. Most of these people prey on the fact that they can get people who are eager to get a good deal, so they don't really check the item, whether it's Enlighten or Empower or Cortex. And if you're buying crafts and services, just know that there's really no way to prevent yourself from getting scammed. At that point, you really just have to trust in the person. You have to look for the signs if they seem sketchy or not. So you can see like all of these ones selling Varici and Ashling and stuff like that. It's pretty hard to know if they're going to be scamming, right? Besides their rep. So there is one way of checking it, and it's to go to the, what's it called? You can go to here, services voucher, and you can just go see how old their account is. So if you see someone with an account age of 2 days, member duration of 2 days, what does that spell? Either this guy is a complete noob to PoE, which is definitely possible, or he's a scammer, right? He made a new account just for TFT. I wonder why, right? But it's not to say that this person is guaranteed to be a scammer, but it is just a huge red flag. And if you have an expensive item, then don't trust someone like this and just wait a little bit longer for a more reputable person. And also, another thing to note is that if your item is valuable enough, someone might try to scam you, right? There's always a price for every single person, and that's definitely true in PoE. Definitely seen people who are exalted rep get scammed someone's like 5 mirror item at the last stage of a craft. So that's just the thing about TFT, or not TFT, but just about services, harvest, Ashley, and stuff in general, and how to prevent scams. So overall, the huge problem with any of these scams is honestly GGG's unwillingness to implement an auction house way of trading. And the reliance on the trade website is kind of crazy at this point, right? So I did try to show you some trade stuff, right? But the trade website is just so slow. Look at me. I'm clicking a search and the trade is just not working anymore. And if you go on Reddit right now, you can see that a lot of people are actually complaining about the trade. Please fix the trade website. #1 post. And I think there was another one over here somewhere, but I think they might have deleted it. Trade not working again. So you can see here, you literally cannot play the game. And it's really off-putting in that they're trying to herd everyone towards SSF. Because if you're SSF, then you would never have any of these problems. So just some food for thought, right? And also, the way that the harvest crafts are currently traded is an atrocious system. Like, you can make it so that charge compasses are how it's done. These charge compasses are probably one of the most game-changing additions in this league outside of the Atlas passive tree, and it makes doing maps and juice maps so much more chill, right? Because you can just buy a bunch of charge compasses and be ready to go instead of having to buy a bunch of sextants or something like that. So it's a very, very good step in the right direction. And I do think that in the future, especially of how bad player numbers are nowadays, that GGG might be willing to implement harvest crafts and ashling services with a compass of sorts. And I do think that would be very, very game changing. So overall, make sure to double check your trades. You don't want to be the person who gets scammed and then just lost like 2 hours of their life farming for the Cortex map or something like that, right? So make sure to double check your trades. Make sure to let GGG know that you want a different trade system if they will listen. Not really sure if they will. But thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to watch out if you're buying Cortex or Empower or Enlighten. And I hope you find more Mage Bloods, Exalted Orbs, and Mirrors than me. And see you next time. Bye.